My girlfriend used me, then mocked me in my own house. So I left, and what happened next showed everyone who she really was. I met my girlfriend, who was 24 years old, about 4 years ago. I went to a class in college to get extra points. The class was about marketing numbers and was very boring. I needed the points to finish school. I sat at the back and tried to stay awake. Then a girl sat next to me and said, "This is really bad, right?" We wrote notes to each other and laughed at how the teacher said synergy over and over. After class, she asked me to get coffee. This never happened to me before. I don't think I'm ugly, but I look just okay. I'm 5 feet 10 inches tall and have a normal body. The coffee was really nice. She was easy to talk with. She laughed at my not-so-funny jokes. We liked the same things. We both like to play games. We both play League of Legends, but I'm not good at it. We like the same music. We both don't like coffee shops that make you feel bad for wanting normal coffee instead of fancy coffee. We started to date soon after that. Nothing big or wild happened. We did normal date things. We went to movies and ate food at a Mexican place near school. The place had great burritos. The place was called Miguel's, but it closed last year. We spent too much time watching many shows at once. She got me to like anime shows. Attack on Titan was the first show we watched together. Our relationship was different from my past ones because we didn't fight much. We had small fights about silly things, like what to watch on TV or who should get the food. But we never had big fights. We never broke up or took time off. We were not jealous. It was good. After we finished school, things went well for both of us. I got a job at a tech company. I work on the back parts of websites. It's not special work. I just fix problems and keep old code working. She got a job at a company that does ads. The pay was okay, not great, but we had enough money to live well. We each had our own place to live. We thought it was too soon to live together. My friends thought it was weird that we never fought. My friend Mark would say, "Man, it's not normal that you never fight. Relationships should be harder." But it was true. We just got along very well. We did the same things each week. We went on dates on Wednesdays because not many people went out to eat then. On weekends, we would hang out with our friends. Sometimes we would all be together. We sent text messages all day. We shared funny pictures and talked about our jobs. Normal things that couples do. I should tell you about her family. It matters later. Her mom and dad ended their marriage when she was in high school. She was not very close to them. They helped her sometimes, but she did things on her own. My family liked her a lot. My mom asked her to come eat with us on Sundays. My young sister thought she was the best person ever. When I think about it now, maybe things were too good. We never had big problems to test our relationship. We didn't know how we would handle real issues. It's strange to look back now. The first 2 years were really good. We took some trips together, nothing special, just short trips to cities close by. We had parties for birthdays and the day we started dating. We helped each other when work was hard or when family issues came up. I helped her when her dad married a woman who was only 10 years older than her. She helped me when I thought about getting a new job. What I mean is that everything was normal. It was boring, but in a good way. We were two people who liked each other and liked to be together. We didn't have wild feelings or big fights. We were just happy and comfortable. After about 2 years of being together, my girlfriend started to act strange. She was quiet and different. She would not pay attention when we watched shows. She would look at her phone when we ate dinner. At first, I thought she might be talking to another guy. I know I worry too much sometimes, but that wasn't it. One night, we sat on her couch eating food from a restaurant. She said, "I don't like my job anymore." She had said bad things about her job before. Everyone does. But this was different. She started to cry. She said she felt like she was wasting her life. She made slideshows for people who didn't even look at them. I found out she had been watching many videos online. They were about being your own boss and doing what you love. I know that sounds bad now. She had a big plan to start her own company. Her company would help small businesses with their online posts and ads. She wanted to do it in a more real way than big companies do. I remember she had an online document with 50 pages of plans and ideas. She worked on it during lunch and late at night. She had papers with numbers showing how much money she could make. She had lists of people who might pay her. She even had drawings of her company sign. She worked hard on it, I will say that. Her job at the ad company paid well. She made $65,000 each year. That's good money for someone who finished school just 2 years ago.
But she kept saying money isn't the most important thing. She said she needed to do something important with her life. Like I said, she watched many videos about starting your own business. This is where I made a mistake. I should have told her to start small first, but I wanted to be a good boyfriend. I said things like, "Yes, honey, follow your dreams. Don't be scared." I said all those things you see on posters. I said them because I wanted to support her. She had saved $20,000 from her job. She lived in a very small apartment and drove an old car that was in bad shape. She also had a plan to get money from the government for new businesses. Maybe she could get people to give her money for her company. It didn't sound too crazy at the time. Her plan was to use her saved money for 6 months. By then, she would have enough people paying her to cover her costs. In 1 year, she would make more money than at her old job. She had a whole talk about how the sickness that went around the world made more businesses need online posts. When she explained it, it sounded real. Her mom and dad were not happy when she told them. Her dad especially said, "You are giving up a good job for a dream that won't come true." But I took her side. I said things like, "Things are different now." I said that regular jobs aren't the only way to work anymore. I was so dumb to believe this. She left her job about a month after she told me her plan. At first, she was very happy. She worked 12 hours each day. She made her website, made cards for her business, and tried to find people who would pay her on a work website. She even got her first person to pay her. It was a small bakery that needed help with their Instagram page. Her apartment plan seemed smart at first. She didn't waste money on an office. She made her living room into her workspace. She bought a good desk from a store called IKEA. She bought lights for video calls. She put up a nice background for video meetings. She looked like a woman in charge. I started to see some bad signs, but I didn't pay attention. She seemed so happy. For example, she spent hours making short videos about how to run a business when she almost had no one paying her. Where she kept buying new things like cameras, microphones, and computer programs before she needed them. But the biggest thing I missed was when she said she wanted to hire her friends. These were people from our school who did similar work. They made pictures, edited videos, and wrote things. She said having a team would make her company look more real. I didn't know that she couldn't pay them the right amount of money. This is when things started to go bad. About 8 months after my girlfriend started her company, I saw she didn't post as many pictures about hard work on Instagram. She used to post every day about staying motivated. She showed what happened behind the scenes of her growing business. I feel bad writing this now. The bakery still paid her and things were going well. Their Instagram went from 500 people following them to 15,000. They got new customers from their online posts. But the problem was that this was the only person who paid her regularly. She had a few small jobs now and then, but nothing steady. Remember the friends she hired? She paid them by telling them they would own part of the company instead of giving them money. She kept saying things like, "When we become big, you'll be happy you joined early." I know this sounds dumb now, but at that time I thought it was normal for new businesses. The first sign that things were very bad was when I went to her apartment one night. I saw many papers that said she was late paying bills. She tried to hide them fast, but I saw them. She hadn't paid for power, internet, and rent for 2 months. She said, "Oh, these just came. I'll pay when a big client pays me next week." The big client she talked about was a gym that wanted help with their online posts. They said they would pay her a certain amount, but after she worked for them for 1 month, they stopped talking to her. They didn't pay her anything. She was too embarrassed to take them to court. The paper they signed was one she found online. I noticed other things too. She only bought very cheap food. Some weeks she only ate rice and eggs. Her car had no gas because she couldn't pay for it. But she still bought things to make her business look good. She bought new jackets for meetings. She paid for special art programs. One night at 11, she called me crying. I could barely understand what she said. Her landlord came to her place. He said she had to pay 3 months of rent or he would make her leave. She finally showed me her money problems. Her $20,000 savings were all gone. Her credit cards had no more money left to use. She owed $11,500 on her credit cards. The few people who paid her were late or didn't pay at all. The government money she wanted for her business, they all said no. They said her business plan wasn't good enough. The worst part was seeing all the things she bought just sitting there. She didn't use them.
She had 2 expensive computers. One was for editing, one for work. She had 3 cameras, lights, and microphones for podcasts. All that stuff cost about $10,000 and just sat there with dust on it. She tried to sell some of it, but people don't pay much for used things. Then she asked me to help pay her rent. She was so embarrassed that she could hardly speak. She kept saying it would only be for a few months. She said some new clients would pay her soon. She showed me emails from companies that seemed like they might hire her. I did what any dumb person in love would do. I told her not to worry about money. I said I would pay her rent until things got better. Her rent was $1,400 each month. That's a lot of money. But I made good money, about $85,000 each year. I didn't spend much money myself. We talked about her moving in with me to save money. But all her work things were at her apartment. The computers, cameras, and work background were all there. She also said it would look bad for her business to change the address. Now I know we should have done it anyway. What makes me mad now is that she never thought about getting a small job or going back to a regular job. Every time I said it nicely, she would get upset. She would say things like, "You don't believe in me," or "I've worked too hard to stop now." But worked too hard meant she owed money and needed me to pay for her home. But the really dumb part? I was actually proud of her for not giving up. I thought she was brave and kept trying. I didn't see that she was just being stubborn and too proud. I even told my friends how much she worked for her dreams. After I started paying her rent, we got into a strange routine. The first few months were not too bad. To be honest, she seemed more relaxed. The landlord wasn't asking for money anymore. I told myself this would only be for a short time. Let me tell you about my money. People will ask. After taxes, I made about $5,000 each month. My own rent was $1,100. My car cost $300 each month. My other bills were about $500. So paying her $1,400 rent didn't ruin me, but it meant I couldn't save money or buy extra things. She did get a few more people to pay her during this time. A furniture store wanted help with their Instagram each week. A small tech company needed help with their work website. The money wasn't good. She made about $2,000 to $2,500 each month total. But she used all of it for her business. She didn't use it to pay her rent. Her apartment became a strange mix of home and work. The living room had a professional setup with the background and lights, but there were also instant noodle packets hidden behind the camera. Her bedroom was full of boxes from a website. She kept buying things for her business. She called them things she needed. This is when her friends started coming over more to work. There were 3 main friends. Jason, who made videos, always wore those small hats on his head. Matt was supposed to be good at making pictures,
but he mostly played games on his computer. Jessica wrote things, but she mostly looked at short videos for ideas. They would come at 10 in the morning. They said creative people don't work early. They would just hang out. They did some work, but mostly they ordered food and talked about changing the world. They used my money to pay for the apartment. At first, I would visit during my lunch break. It was strange. They would all sit in my girlfriend's apartment. I paid for it. They ate food that cost more than they made. They acted like they were running a big tech company. The way they acted was strange from the beginning. My girlfriend was their boss, but they acted like friends hanging out. I guess they were friends. But shouldn't there be rules when you're running a business? I started to notice small things that bothered me. They would all go to the gym together during lunch. Their lunch break would last 2 to 3 hours. Work for clients would be late because they spent the day thinking of ideas. But it looked like they were watching videos and talking about people. My girlfriend said they were building company culture. I wish I was making this up. She used words she heard from business shows. She used them wrong. She called their text messages their digital workspace. The money didn't get better, but it became normal. Every month, I sent money for her rent. She would say, "This is the last month I need help." Then the next month, the same thing would happen again. I stopped asking about her business money because I didn't want to fight. My friends tried to warn me. My friend Carlos told me directly that she was using me, but I kept defending her. I said things like, "She's working on her future. Sometimes you have to support your partner's dreams." I was that guy, the one everyone feels bad for, but he doesn't see it. The worst part is that I really thought we were building something together. I thought that when her business did well, we would look back and laugh about the hard times. I thought we would say, "Remember when you paid my rent?" It would be a cute story at parties. I stopped doing things I wanted because of money. I ended my gym membership. I stopped going out with friends. I kept wearing my old clothes, even though they were falling apart. But she was buying new, nice clothes for meetings with clients that almost never happened. This is where things got really bad. The kind of bad where you know something is wrong, but you tell yourself you're just worrying too much. It started with the gym. My girlfriend used to go 2 times a week. That's normal. Then suddenly she went every day, sometimes 2 times a day. Being healthy is good, but this was different. She wouldn't answer my calls because she was at the gym. She missed our date nights because she was working out with her team. When I say the team, I mean Jason and Matt, those 2 guys who worked for her. Jessica stopped coming as much because she got a real job. She was smart, to be honest. But those 2 guys were always there. Always. Our texting got weird, too. We used to text all day. We sent funny pictures, shared thoughts, and complained about things. Normal couple stuff. But then it changed. I would text, "Want to get dinner tonight?" She would read it and answer 3 hours later, "Sorry, I was busy with work." But she was posting pictures on Instagram of her and the team doing workout challenges. Yeah, that really looked like work. The worst part was that we went from seeing each other almost every day to maybe once a week. When we did meet, she always looked at her phone. She talked about what Jason said or what Matt thought. It was like I wasn't even there. I tried to talk to her about it. I was very careful how I said it. I didn't want to sound like I was controlling her. The talk went like this. Me. Hey, I feel like we haven't spent much time together lately. Her. I'm trying to build a business. You said you supported me. Me. I do support you. Her. Then why are you making me feel bad for working hard? That's how every talk.
She made it seem like I was the bad person for wanting to see my girlfriend. It was not fun. Then she started competing with me. If I said I had a bad day at work, she would immediately say how much harder it is to run your own business. If I said I was tired, she would talk about how she woke up at 5 in the morning to do CEO work. That meant making short videos about being a CEO. The phone thing got really bad too. She wouldn't answer my calls. But I could see she was on Instagram. She liked and commented on her friends' posts. When I asked her about it, she would say things like, "Being on social media is part of my job," or "I'm making work friends." One time, I looked at our old pictures. I realized we hadn't taken a picture together in 2 months. But her Instagram had many pictures with Jason and Matt. They were at the gym, at coffee shops, at work events. She always added words like #businesslife, #building a business, #working together. The last thing, before everything got really bad, was when she forgot my birthday. She completely forgot. No text, no call, nothing. I saw on her posts that she spent the whole day doing a team building activity. That meant she went hiking with Jason and Matt. When I talked to her about it the next day, she said, "Oh my God, honey, I was so busy with work." She tried to make it better by ordering me a cake 3 days later. It was from the bakery that was her first client. By the way, she still wasn't paying them the full amount. Then, she posted a picture of the cake on her business page. She wrote #support small business. She didn't even tag me in it. I started to hate looking at her social media. She always posted new things about working hard with these guys. Meanwhile, I was at my real job that was paying her rent. But at least she looked good in the pictures, right? We hadn't seen each other for 5 days. No calls, almost no texts. She just kept posting on Instagram about working hard. I was really tired of it, to be honest. So, on Saturday, I left work early. I told my boss I had a bad headache. I went to her apartment to surprise her. I thought if I showed up, we could spend time together. Now, I think I should have just gone home and played games instead. I got to her apartment at 2 in the afternoon. Remember, I'm paying for this place. The rent check has my name on it. But when I rang the doorbell, Jason opened the door. He wasn't wearing a shirt. I guess that's how they work now. He looked at me like I was a salesman bothering them at an important meeting. The apartment was a mess. There were empty energy drink cans everywhere. Food containers were in their gym bags just thrown around. It was a very professional workspace. The background and lights for video calls were still set up, but there was gym equipment all around it. I walked in and saw my girlfriend sitting at her desk. She was wearing gym clothes. It was 2 in the afternoon on a work day. She looked surprised to see me, but not in a good way. She looked like when you see someone from high school that you never wanted to see again. The talk went like this. Me, "Hey, I thought we could go outside. I haven't seen you all week." Her, I'm in the middle of something." I looked around. Nobody was doing any work.
Matt was playing a game on his computer. I could see his screen. Jason was just looking at his phone and doing strange stretches. Mean, you don't look busy. Let's go outside. It's a nice day. She started to get up. I thought maybe things would be okay. Then Jason had to speak. Jason, leaving already? The boss should work the same hours as the workers, right? He laughed in a weird way. I tried hard not to say something dumb, like, who is this guy to talk about working hard when he just looked at himself in the mirror all day? But then, my girlfriend, the one I pay rent for, said, maybe I should stay if you want my company so bad. They both laughed like it was the funniest thing ever. Matt pretended to be very focused on his game, but I could see him smiling. I stood there like an idiot. I watched my girlfriend flirt with this guy right in front of me. So, I tried one more time. Me, we haven't spent any time together all week. Your work is done for today. Let's go get some food. Then she said it. She looked right in my eyes and said, maybe you should fight for my attention against my guy friends. The way she said it, the look on her face,
And seeing Jason and Matt trying not to laugh, I don't know, man, something in me just broke. I grabbed my jacket and said, you can have fun with them. I'm gonna have fun after working hard all week to pay your rent. The room got very quiet. I could hear Matt stop clicking his mouse. I didn't even look at her face. I just walked out. Do you want to know the worst part? She didn't follow me. She didn't call my name. Nothing. I waited in my car for 10 minutes. I thought maybe she would run out to say she was sorry. No. Instead, I got a text from her an hour later. She said I was rude and mean to her in front of her team. She said I shouldn't have talked about the rent because it made her look weak as the CEO. CEO of what? A company that can't even pay for its own office? An office that's in an apartment I pay for. I didn't answer her text. I didn't answer any of her messages after that. I drove home and played a game all day. I was so angry I felt sick. That's when I started thinking about leaving everything. Leaving her, leaving the whole situation. I was done. The weekend after I left her apartment was the longest weekend of my life. I just sat in my room. My phone was off. I tried to understand what happened. She kept sending me texts like, you're acting like a child. We need to talk about how you acted. The team feels bad now. You don't support my dreams. The team? You mean the two guys who sit in her apartment all day doing nothing while I pay the bills? I took pictures of all her messages. I knew I would need to look at them later to remind myself I wasn't crazy. Here are some more great messages. A real boyfriend would understand how hard things are for me. Jason said what you did was very bad. You're just jealous of my success. My company is going to do well, and you're trying to stop me. Success? What success? The company made about $800 last month. That wouldn't even pay half her rent. On Sunday, I looked at all the money I sent her over the past year. I gave her $16,800 for rent. I gave her about $2,000 for emergency bills. I gave her $500 for a class about marketing that she never finished. I gave her $300 for pictures for her business. That's almost $20,000. I could have bought a car with that money. I could have paid part of a small house. But instead, I paid for her little playhouse. She pretends to be a CEO there while she flirts with her workers. On Monday morning, I called her landlord. He's a really nice guy. We talked a few times when I gave him rent checks. The talk went like this. Me. Hi, I wanted to tell you I won't pay my girlfriend's rent anymore. Him. Oh, are you two okay? Me. Not really, I just wanted to tell you. Him. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for always paying on time. That was it. It was simple, but my hands were shaking after I hung up. It felt real now. Then I did something that might seem silly, but I don't care. I made a list of where all my money went in the past year. Rent, bills, all the business things I paid for. I added up all the hours I worked to make that money. I counted how many times she said thank you. I'll tell you the answer. Not many times. The next few days were strange. She still posted on Instagram like nothing was wrong. She posted pictures at the gym with the team. She posted quotes about not giving up. She posted stories about making her business better. Meanwhile, I sat at my desk at work. I wondered if I'd just ended a 4-year relationship. On Wednesday, I got the text I was waiting for. Why is my landlord here with a paper that says I have to leave? Why didn't you pay the rent?
I didn't answer. She called me. I didn't answer. More texts came. You can't do this to me. My business is here. What should I tell the team? This will ruin everything. Then the threats started. I will tell everyone how bad you are. My lawyer will call you. She doesn't have a lawyer. You have to pay my rent by law. I never signed anything. I blocked her phone number. Then I blocked her on Instagram. Then I blocked her email. Then I blocked all the fake accounts she made to contact me. Her friends started messaging me too. Most of them called me bad names. They said I was trying to ruin her business. One of her friends from school messaged me. She said she understood why I did it, but that just made me feel worse. Jason and Matt both sent me long messages. They said I was destroying a business run by a woman.
They said I was showing who I really am. It's funny how they care about the business, but not enough to get real jobs. They keep taking her money, which is really my money. The hardest part was that a small part of me wanted to give in. I wanted to send the rent money one more time. I wanted to tell her we could fix things. That's what happens when you love someone for 4 years. It makes you think about doing dumb things even when you know better. But I didn't do it. I just sat there looking at my bank account. The rent money was still there. I felt nothing. Just empty. This part is hard to write about. It happened a few weeks ago, and my hands are still shaking as I type this. After a week of me not answering her messages, I thought she finally understood. The process to make her leave her apartment had started. Her landlord works fast, I guess. I thought she would be too busy with that to bother me. I was wrong. It was about 11:30 at night on a Thursday. I remember because I was playing a game when I heard someone banging on my door. At first, I thought it was my neighbor. Someone broke his car last month, so sometimes he worries and checks on everyone. But it wasn't him. It was her. Thank God I have a chain lock on my door. I opened it just a little to see what she wanted. When she saw me, her face changed. She looked very angry. She started screaming about how I ruined everything. She said her investors would take their money back because she was losing her office. She said her team would quit. She said I destroyed her dreams. I tried to close the door, but she put her foot in the space. Then she tried to push her way into my apartment. She pushed against the door while I held it shut with the chain. She said things like, "You think you can just leave after what you did to me? I will show everyone what kind of person you are. You will be sorry for this." Then she tried to reach through the gap in the door to grab me. Her nails scratched my arm. I still have the mark. That's when I got very scared. I moved back from the door. I told her I was calling the police. She kept screaming and banging on the door for 15 more minutes. My neighbors definitely heard everything. They sent me texts asking if I was okay. Finally, she left. But before she left, she yelled that this wasn't over. I sat on my couch all night with a baseball bat next to me. I couldn't sleep. I kept checking my windows to make sure she wasn't trying to get in another way. The next day, I got messages from Jason and Matt. They said I made her crazy. They said I caused this by stopping her money. Yeah, that totally makes it okay to try to break into someone's apartment and hurt them. The next day, I put up a camera by my door. I got better locks too. My neighbor is a nice old man who lives alone. He said he would watch for her car and call the police if he sees her. The really sad part is this is the same girl who used to bring me soup when I was sick. She cried when she watched videos about saving dogs. I thought I would marry her someday. Looking at the scratches on my arm, I realized I didn't know who she was anymore. The girl I loved would never try to hurt someone. But I guess that's what happens when you let someone do whatever they want for a long time. They think they deserve anything they want from you. Other strange things started happening too. I got calls from numbers I didn't know. It was definitely her. Fake bad reviews appeared on my work's Google page. Her friends posted unclear things about me on social media. I got emails from new accounts telling me to be careful. I saved everything. I took pictures of her messages. I saved videos from my camera. I took pictures of the scratches. I started carrying pepper spray too. I never thought I would need to protect myself from someone I used to share my life with. My mom keeps telling me to move back home for a while, but I don't want to leave my job. Also, running away feels like I'm letting her win. I don't know, maybe that's dumb. The worst part is the small voice in my head that wonders if this is somehow my fault. Did I cause this by stopping her money without telling her first? Should I have given her one more chance? Then I look at the scratches on my arm. I remember how it felt to be trapped behind that door.
I know I made the right choice. Am I wrong for not paying her rent and stopping her money? I told the police what happened. No, they haven't done anything yet. I can move out of my apartment in 4 months, but I'm looking for new places now. She sent me messages saying I should have fought back. I'm not going to hit a woman, even to protect myself. I wish I had better news. But life isn't a movie where everything ends happily. Remember I said she was following me? It got much worse after she came to my apartment. She started showing up everywhere. I mean everywhere. She sat in her car outside my job. She followed me to the food store. She came to the gym I go to. She waited at the coffee shop near my apartment. At first I thought I was just worried too much. Maybe it was just a coincidence that I kept seeing her. But my friend Keith, who is a great guy, helped me keep track of everything. We started taking different ways to work, and sure enough, she followed the same way. We figured out her schedule. At 7:30 in the morning, she parks near my apartment. At 8:15 in the morning, she follows me to work. At 9 in the morning, she sits at the coffee shop across from my office. At 5 in the evening, she follows me home. Then she just sits in the park near my home until late at night. It was like I had a shadow following me all the time. I started going places with friends because I was scared to be alone. I had to explain to my boss why I kept looking behind me during lunch. Then I decided to talk to her. Keith and another friend came with me to help. I just walked up to her car and asked what she wanted. Instead of more threats or anger, she just started crying a lot. She said she was sorry. She said she messed everything up. She said she always treated me badly. She said I was the only good man she had ever known. She said she couldn't live without me. The old me would have felt bad. I might have given her another chance. But all I could think about was the scratches on my arm. I remembered how scared I felt that night at my door. I told her directly, "What you're doing makes me feel unsafe. I will call the police if you don't stop." She didn't stop. Getting the order to stay away from me was a whole process. I had to go to court. I had to show all my proof. I showed videos from my camera. I showed pictures of the scratches. I showed pictures of her messages. I showed photos of her car following me. My friends and neighbors told the court what they saw. I showed a list of every time she showed up where I was. The court day was crazy. She came with Jason and Matt, of course. They tried to make me look like a controlling ex-boyfriend who ruined her business. Luckily, the judge understood the truth. This was especially true when they showed the video of her trying to break into my apartment. They arrested her that day. It turns out there are consequences for invading someone's space and making threats. Someone paid to get her out of jail. It was probably Jason or Matt. But at least I have legal protection now. I'm moving to a new apartment next month. I found a place on the other side of town. It has a better security system and parking underground. I told my job about the situation. They're letting me work from home 3 days a week. The whole thing still feels strange. How did we go from planning our future together to me needing legal protection from her? How did my girlfriend of 4 years become someone I'm scared to see? Here are some updates. Her company is basically gone. She got kicked out of her apartment, obviously. Jason and Matt finally got real jobs. Most of our friends chose sides. Most of them chose her side. I'm talking to a therapist now. I probably should have done this sooner. The therapist says I have trouble trusting people now. She also says it will take time to deal with everything, and that's okay. She says I need to forgive myself for not seeing the warning signs sooner. I still find myself checking the alerts from my camera. I still get nervous when I see a car that looks like hers. I still have trouble sleeping sometimes. But you know what? I'm doing better. I started going to the gym again. I spend more time with friends. I even joined a group that plays a game called Dungeons and Dragons. I want to thank Keith for getting me into it. I haven't dated anyone new yet. I'm not ready for that. Maybe I won't be ready for a long time, but that's okay. To everyone who read this story and supported me, thank you. Writing this helped me deal with everything. And to anyone else dealing with something like this, get out. It doesn't get better. It gets worse.